Bhagyashree ma'am, you are not audible, ma'am. Please check your mic.
Yeah, very good morning, student. I'm sorry I am not at my part. In today's lecture, we will study about what is reflection, types of reflection, reflection of point source on a plane mirror, and reflection of extended source on a plane mirror. So these are basically the examples that we see in our day-to-day life with naked eye. The first one is reflection of light in plane mirror, reflection of light in spherical mirror, reflection of light in water pool, reflection of light on polished surface, object seen due to reflection of light, glowing of stars, lightning of moon at night, reflection from luminous object, reflection from non-luminous object. So one question arises, why do we see objects? So here in this slide, we will try to see. Here we can see a tree. The rays from the sun are falling on the tree, and these rays are being bounced back to the person who is trying to see the tree. So we will see the detailed explanation of this now. So we will see the detailed explanation of this now. Now what happens is, students, the ray of light coming from the sun are being incident on the tree. So the tree becomes luminous. You can also say the tree becomes a luminous object. So a luminous object is the one which is able to give out ray of light. These ray of light are ultimately given by the tree, and these ray of light travel in parallel direction and they reach the person's eye so that the person is able to see. This is the reason why we are able to see objects. Objects on their own are not having light, but the moment light falls on any non-luminous object, here in our case the non-luminous object is tree, it becomes illuminated and ultimately it starts giving out light. Now suppose if an object is placed in dark. Okay, in the slide with the help of an example, I can say there is an apple which is being placed in a dark room and one mirror is placed in front of it. As long as the light was not falling, if the light was not there in the room, we are not able to see the apple. But the moment somebody switched on the table lamp, so what happened is the rays of light that are being emitted from the lamp started falling on the object, which is the apple. Ultimately, the object became illuminated, okay, and it gave out the rays of light. These rays of light are being incident on the mirror, and the person who takes the entry will be able to see the image of this apple in the mirror. So we say, why do we see things? When light hits something, it bounces back. And when this is bounded light reaches our eye, we are able to see things. This is the reason why we need to see light to see something. So here again, we will see that there is a pool of water. There are sun rays, or you can also say light rays that are being coming and hitting the surface. Being a plane surface, the ray of light will be bounced back in the same medium. Here the medium is going to be air. Both the ray that is approaching the water surface and that is bouncing back the water surface, definitely they are going to travel in the same medium. So we come across a beautiful phenomena which we call it as reflection of light. So what is reflection of light? Reflection is a natural phenomena of light that separates the light wave to go through a straight line. Means it is due to reflection that a beam of light changes its path. In other words, the bouncing back of light wave in the same medium when it strikes with any surface, whether it is plane, curved, or rough. So you can say that reflection would be occurring even if the surface is rough, the surface is plane, whether it is curved, okay? Any surface, on any surface, reflection would occur. So now we will see what are the different types of reflection of light. There are basically three types of reflection that we see in our day-to-day life. The first one is regular reflection of light. The second one is irregular or diffusion of light. And the third one is multiple reflection of light. Now we will see in detail what is regular reflection of light. If a ray of light falls on a smooth surface, okay, and the waves get reflected only in one direction, then it would be called as a regular reflection. Dear students, you can see the rays of light that are being approaching this plane surface. This is going to be the plane surface. Okay, those rays are going to be called as incident rays. And since the surface is perfectly smooth, these rays will be, reflected or bounced back parallel to each other and in one direction. Regular reflection can also be defined as the light wave falls on a polished surface and gets reflected in such a way that all the light rays are parallel to each other. So, in regular reflection, students, you have to remember that the reflected rays are always going to be parallel to each other. This is the reason why we perceive some objects are smooth, some objects are rough. Why? When the ray of light, that is the reflected ray of light, are parallel to each other, definitely we perceive the object is going to be a smoother one. Now, in this slide, you can see a beautiful reflection of this mountain is being seen on the surface of water. The surface of water is clear and plain. Okay, this is the reason why you can see, since the ray of light were parallel, you can see each and every detail that is being present outside the water pool. The same detail is being seen on the surface of that pool. So you get a well-defined and clear image in case of regular reflection. The next type of reflection that we will now study is irregular or diffuse reflection of light. Now, if a ray of light falls on a rough surface, what happens is you can see the reflected ray travels in all possible directions. Definitely, you see that the incident ray, they are being parallel to each other, but when the things come to reflected ray, the reflected rays are, they are being scattered in all possible directions. So, irregular reflection can also be defined as when the ray of light falls on a surface that is not polished. The criteria for irregular or diffuse reflection is the surface is not polished. You can see the surface is having irregularities in it, okay, which is not polished, and after reflection, it will bounce back in the same medium, but each ray will not be parallel to each other. So, if such a case is there, you see the object like this. Here, even if you have a pool of water, you can see there are ripples are there on the surface of the water. The surface is not at all, you can say, still. Because of this, you are being able to see the image of the object surrounding it, but the image is not at all clear. The image appears to be distorted. The image is not well defined. So this is the reason why you also say it as a diffused reflection, because the image is like this. Because the ray of light, those who are reflected, are not traveling parallel to each other. The third type of reflection of light is going to be called as a multiple reflection of light. Now you can see two mirrors are being placed parallel to each other. What happens is a ray of light is being incident on the first mirror. Definitely the incident ray will suffer reflection over here since the surface is polished. After reflection, this ray of light would serve as the incident ray on the second mirror, which is the mirror that is shown by spotlight here. Now what happens since this mirror surface is also polished, definitely the ray of light would be reflected back. So in this example, you can see a ray of light, one ray of light is being reflected a number of times. So such a phenomena would be called as multiple reflection of light. Now here we will come across a scientist named Justus von Liebig. He is a German scientist and he is the one who invented the plane mirror which we use in our day-to-day life. Okay, he coated the plane surface of a piece of ordinary glass with silver metal and made the first mirror. Such a mirror is called as a silver glass mirror. So in the initial days when the mirror was invented, definitely the mirror was made with the coating of silver. So in scientific language, we say it has a surface which reflects light and creates clear image. It is called as a mirror. We need a polished surface for reflecting light. This is because polished surface absorb less light and so maximum light is reflected. Now, in our day-to-day life, we are only using plane mirror. But my dear students, I would like to inform you all there are basically two types of mirror. The first one is the plane mirror, which we all use in our day-to-day life. And the second one is a spherical mirror. Now, when we speak about spherical mirrors are having two subtypes. The first one is called as a convex mirror and the second one is called as a concave mirror. In today's lecture, we will only focus on the plane mirror. And in the coming session, we will focus on convex and concave type of mirror. So when we speak about plane mirror, a plane mirror is made by coating the back surface of a flat and smooth glass piece with a thin reflecting film of aluminium and silver. And a paint is coated over it. This is to protect this reflecting film and to make the side to pick another coat of substance like lead oxide is given to it. Now, a very important topic we will now study. Now, see students, we want to see how an image is being formed on a plane mirror. Here we are having a plane mirror. This is the reflecting side and the back side, which is being shown by slanting line, the slanting blue line, that is the back side of the mirror. The rays of light are being incident on the plane surface or reflecting surface of the mirror. What happens is these rays are being reflected back. Now you can see the path traversed by the incident ray and the reflected ray is going to be the same. Okay, and this is how an image is formed when we look into the plane mirror. You can see the reflected ray and the incident ray, they are traveling along the same path and they are perpendicular to the reflecting surface of the plane mirror. Now, what if the object is a point source object? By point source, I mean to say that you can take an example of a torch or you can take an example of a laser beam. Now, suppose if there is a laser beam which I place it at point O. We are having a plane mirror N1, N2. The shaded portion at the back is the back side of the mirror. Now, what happens is the ray OR1 is incident on the reflecting surface of plane mirror and it gets reflected back. Similarly, the ray OR2 is incident on the plane mirror and it is reflected as the ray R2S2. Now, what happens, student, is a person is trying to see from the reflecting side of the mirror. Definitely, he wants to find out how the image will be formed. So, what we can do over here is we can simply produce these reflected ray backside. And you can make out that these reflected rays R2S2 and R1S1, if they are produced at the back, they are able to meet at one point O dash. If you carefully look at this, you can see that the object that is placed from the mirror, the distance between them, at the same distance, the image you can say is being formed. So, students, you can make out the distance at which you are standing in front of mirror. At the same distance, the image is being formed at the back side of the mirror. Okay. Next here, we see if an object is an extended object. By extended means there are many points which are able to, emit light if a light fall on that object. Here we are taking an example of pencil. Okay, so what you can see is when the pencil is being kept in front of the mirror, definitely you get the image of the pencil at the backside and the distance at which each of the point on the pencil is there at the same time, the image of that point will be seen at the back of the mirror at the same distance. Okay, so there is no difference over here. Only we want to see the thing is the distance at which the object is placed in front side of the mirror. At the same distance, the object will be formed, but at the back side of the mirror. So these are a few, you can say, properties that we studied from these three examples. The image is always erect or upright. Whenever you are standing in front of mirror, the head is in the place of head and the foot is at the place of foot. So such image is called as erect and upright. It is virtual. By virtual, we mean that the image is being formed at the back side of the mirror. Okay, why? Because the reflected rays are never meeting each other. It is laterally inverted, means the left side of yourself will be seen as right in the mirror and the right side of yourself will be seen as the left side in the mirror. It lies along a line joining the object and surface which is perpendicular to the surface. Size equals object, means the size of the image is equal to the size of the object. It's located far behind the reflecting surface as the object is in front of it. This means the same thing. The distance at which the object or a person is standing in front of a mirror, at the same distance, the image will be formed, but at the back side of the mirror. So students, this is your assignment for today. Explain image of an extended source formed by a plane mirror. So if we want to write answer, definitely this is going to be the explanation when the mirror is placed, when the pencil is placed in front of the reflecting surface of plane mirror, each and every point on the pencil would act as a illuminating source. And if the rays of light are being produced backward, what would happen is definitely the image of the point would be formed. We have to write each and everything that is being seen in this picture. P is the tip, Q is the back side of the pencil, M1, M2 is a plane mirror, okay? And the image of all the points between P and Q are formed between P1 and Q1, resulting in an image. Definitely, the image is going to be a virtual one. What are the characteristics of image formed by a plane mirror? So these are basically the characteristics that are being formed by the image of a plane mirror. You all can take the snapshot of this and you can write down the answers later on. The next question is, explain image of point source formed by plane mirror. The answer lies over here. This was basically the explanation that was being given, the nature of image that is being formed by a point source. Okay, so all these things you have to write them and you have to explain it in short and sweet way. Definitely, the main purpose why we are saying the image is virtual is you can make out that the reflected rays are not at all, they are meeting each other. So once you produce this reflected ray backward, then only you can say the image is being formed. This is another reason why we are saying the image is going to be the virtual one. So these three questions are for assignment. So students, how many types of reflections are there? Today, we saw three types of reflection: regular reflection, irregular reflection, and multiple reflection. A well-defined image of an object is called as dash. Definitely, when the image is well-defined, such a reflection is called as regular reflection of light. And why the regular reflection of light takes place? Because all the reflected rays are traveling parallel to each other. This is one more reason you can say the surface of an object appears to be the plane. A colored and a distorted image of an object is called as dash. The answer is going to be irregular reflection. Because the surface is rough, though the incident rays are parallel to each other, the reflected rays are not at all parallel to each other. This is the reason why the person who sees a rough object is able to perceive that the surface is rough and it is not plane. So students, let us have a quick recap of what we did in today's lecture. In today's lecture, we saw why we are able to see things. We are able to see things because of the reflection of light. The rays of light falling on any non-luminous object make it luminous, and that object starts emitting light, and those light rays when reaches our eye, we are able to see object. This phenomena is called as the reflection of light. It is a natural phenomena. Reflection of light can occur on any surface, whether it is plain, polished, or curved, or rough. Basically, there are three types of reflection of light: regular, irregular, and multiple reflection. In this slide, we saw an example of regular reflection. You can see the reflected rays of light are always parallel to each other. So you get a clear and well-defined image of an object in case of regular reflection. But when we speak about irregular reflection, the surface is rough, and because of this, the rays of light that are reflected from the rough surface are traveling in all possible directions. And this is the reason why the image is not at all clear. You can see the image is not clear because the surface is rough. Then the third type of reflection that we saw was multiple reflection of light. Definitely with the help of true mirror, we are able to achieve multiple reflection. We are having some beautiful example of multiple reflection, which we will see in the next lecture. The German scientist Justus von Liebig was the one who invented plane mirror. Basically, there are two types of mirror. The first one is plane and the second one is spherical. And in spherical mirror, we are having again two subtypes. The first one is the convex mirror and the second one is called as concave mirror. Then we saw rays falling on mirror normal to its surface, how the image will be formed. Image of a point source formed by a plane mirror, why an image is being formed and how the image is being formed, we saw it here. The third one, if the object is not a point source, but it is an extended source, how the image will be formed, we saw in the slide. We saw the nature of the image that is being formed by a plane mirror. We saw assignment question also and the explanation of these questions. We saw multiple choice questions pertaining to today's lecture. And students, that's it for today. Have a nice day.